I hate to be frank that way, but if you are so focused on hiring someone that looks the part, you're stroking your own ego. Hey guys, what's up? It's officially the 4th episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you're new here, my name is Erica Chandler, and I am the creator and host of the Admin Society podcast. I am so excited about this episode because this is where my expertise comes into play, and I'm going to talk about the concept of hiring and the bad practices that have been taught to tattoo artists when it comes to trying to learn and look for tattoo assistants. And this one is going to be especially important because those that are in the market for a tattoo assistant, you'll be able to learn not what to do, and then what happens when you follow these bad practices and the effects it's going to have on your business. How to not hire a tattoo assistant. I'm sure there are tattoo artists out there that are well acknowledging that they have been burned when it comes to hiring a tattoo assistant. And that's not what I want for you guys. If you guys are looking or in the market, I want you guys to be able to find qualified tattoo assistants to where you can get back to what you love. Now, when I first started this position, I spent hours and months of conversations with dozens and dozens of tattoo artists trying to figure out one of the pain points of trying to find someone to help them. And a lot of the times it's because they don't know where to start. They have no idea. And that is no rag on tattoo artists because you guys have been trained to be good at fucking tattoos. And there hasn't been much guidance to help you. There's hasn't been somebody in this position to be able to redefine what it means to be a tattoo assistant and redefine the position and be able to help you organize it better up until now. The amount of messages that I get from tattoo artists that are looking to hire an assistant, this happens pretty frequently, especially on Instagram. And tattoo artists are coming to me because they have nowhere to turn. And one that tells me is that they have been taught maybe a bad practice of hiring an able body of someone that you may know, and or hiring someone that looks the part, meaning covered in tattoos, maybe has colorful hair and so on. This actually creates an atmosphere where these people have no idea how to fulfill the position. So what happens is their intentions may be that they mean well, but they don't know how to take charge and to help clients and to get people scheduled. They don't know how. And what happens is these tattoo artists are getting burned because these people just up and quit. And then it comes to the fact that the tattoo artist has to go back to square one, take care of the emails and scheduling. And sometimes it puts a bad taste in their mouth to the point where they have completely dislodged the thought of ever hiring again. Now, I'm not saying if you want to hire a friend, family, a client, spouse, partner, whatever that relationship is to you, if you want to hire someone you know, fine. That is totally fine. And what I am saying is that don't hire them just because they can be an able person to work with you. If they don't have any skills, if you have a cousin that is able to work for you, but may not be good at customer service or social media or emails or scheduling, if you just hire them just to hire, then that defeats the purpose of you trying to find someone to take over. Because 9 times out of 10, any conversation that I've had with tattoo artists is that they want to get back to the roots of what they love, which is going back to just tattooing. They don't want to have to worry about the emails. They don't want to have to worry about the house calls when it comes to clients calling in the shop. And I know that comes with the territory, but we are in 2024. You guys are legitimate businesses. You guys have every right to want to find help when it's just you. You don't have to run yourself ragged anymore. You don't have to spread yourself too thin. We are in this modern age where technology is a beautiful thing and we are advancing as a collective group, and you don't have to just do it by yourself anymore. The subject of hiring an able body, this is what is embarrassing, because if you are a client walking in to an establishment like a tattoo studio and you find the assistant, they're not really friendly, they don't really know how to help, they seem like they're scatterbrained, they don't know where anything is. If they appear that they don't know what they're doing. Your clients can see it. And that is very unfortunate and very embarrassing for your tattoo business, because if you're hiring a tattoo assistant, you essentially need them to act as a manager, act as the face of the company, because essentially, if you want to get back to tattooing, you need someone that's going to be in that position to take over. If you just hire someone that you know and they don't have those skills, how are they realistically going to help you? Because at the end of the day, you are going to waste more time, money, and effort trying to find someone to help you than if you were to take the time to actually find a qualified assistant. At the end of the day, if your clients are not coming back because you hired someone that doesn't really know how to help, you're losing money, and you spend so much time trying to make your business better. And if you are losing money, you can't grow as a tattoo artist. And if you have an unqualified person, that just adds more problems for you to have to clean up when it comes time for them to just up and quit because they don't know what to do. A lot of the times when you hire someone that is an able body, you are essentially just reinforcing that they don't know what that they're doing, but they're just there to treat it like a secondhand thought and just earn a paycheck. That's not what you want at all. That I've seen it from time to time, even when I worked in the corporate world. If you hire unqualified people, they do more harm for your business than they do good. I can't tell you how many stories and horror stories I've heard from a tattoo artist that told me that they hired their cousin and they didn't know how to help. And that's not what you need. You inevitably are going to put your business in the hands of the wrong people that are underqualified to help you, to the point where they're going to quit and leave you high and dry, and you are back to square one all over again. It also goes for hiring a tattoo assistant that just looks the part, covered in tattoos. That basically right there is just the equivalent of dating a hot chick because they're hot and they don't really have any street smarts or book smarts. If you just hire someone that looks the part, it's not going to do anything for your business. That has more to do with the person that's hiring, their personal ego versus the needs of the business. And I hate to be frank that way, but if you are so focused on hiring someone that looks the part, you're stroking your own ego, because I promise you, clients are not paying attention to that. They are going to pay attention to how welcoming you make them feel. They are going to pay attention to how welcoming the assistant makes them feel. They're going to pay attention to how helpful the assistant is making them feel. They're not going to sit in the lobby and think, if they don't have tattoos, do they have any experience at all? They're not thinking that. And if they do, it's very rare. I completely understand that there is some parts where in the industry, some people believe that having more tattoos kind of gives you a place in the industry that shows clients that you care, you love tattoos, and so on. Like, I completely understand that. But at the same time, if that's all you're going to go by, it's not sustainable for you in the long run. I mean, even in my own personal journey, obviously, if you are watching this right now, sorry if you're listening, you can't see this, but if you are watching this right now, as you can see, I don't have a lot of visible tattoos. I have one or two on my arms. The rest are, in places where they get covered up. And I can't tell you how many times I've had commenters from specifically older tattoo artists, the older heads, as people like to say, that have commented on my Instagram posts or just social media in general and say, well, says the broad who has hardly any visible tattoos, and I must not know shit. If you equate the amount of tattoos that someone has to being someone that you can actually listen to, that's faulty. Tattoos are a symbol of your individualism. That doesn't equate to the amount of brains you have and the knowledge that you have. Like, I acknowledge that I don't look like the average person working in this industry, and I'm fine with that. I would rather that you judge me on the contents of my character and the skills and knowledge that I have versus my looks and my appearance. My looks fade, but my skills and knowledge is going to get better over decades of time, and I would rather hold on to that than my looks. My point is, when you are hiring someone to do this job for you, it's not always about the appearance, it's about the knowledge and what that person can do for your business that's an asset. Just another analogy with this, just to bring in another industry. If I walk into a hairstylist and the receptionist checks me in for my appointment, and they may not have their hair done or their makeup done or whatever, I'm not going to sit there and wonder why that person is there. They don't look the part. That's not what's important. Yes, I understand that we should probably make our appearance look better. I understand that maybe we should dress a certain way. I understand that, things could be more professional. I get that. But at the end of the day, how can we realistically hire someone by that? I want to take you to the corporate world for a minute. I want you to think about before you became a tattoo artist, tattoo assistant, I want you to think about how life was for you in applying to jobs. If you think about the functions of the human resources person, if they post a job, let's say on Indeed.com, and they are requiring X amount of experience and you apply anyway because you're more of an able body, do you realistically think that HR person's going to call you for an interview? Based on my experience, the answer is no. I'm going to more than likely look over you, regardless if you're an able body or not, because the people that assigned me to screen for them are looking for qualified people. You apply to work in the construction area, like maybe a higher position, something in an office where you oversee a construction site and you have no experience, do you think the HR person's going to hire you? No, because they are looking for similar experience, maybe in similar industries, maybe from a competitor, maybe from a different industry like the plumbing industry, but the knowledge is still the same. They are more likely going to hire that person because they have skills that can be transferred over into their industry. If you just hire someone to look the part, anyone can look like they work in construction, get a pair of overalls that are covered in concrete and steel-toed boots and I don't know what they're called, but the high reflective jackets and vests that are orange and yellow. Like anyone can look that part if they really wanted to make the effort. But if you don't have the skills for that, how can you expect them to hire you? And that's the same exact concept that I'm talking about when it comes to hiring people that look the part, because it doesn't do anything for you. You should be looking for skills, not just someone to help you fill a position as quick as possible. I want to dive into another bad practice that happens when you do hire a qualified candidate is low pay. This one is very unfortunate. There are tattoo artists out there that pay their assistant below $10 an hour. Hiring someone at that wage, why would someone take a pay cut to work for you, possibly even full time, when they can go to McDonald's and get $16 an hour? You're not going to get anybody. Now, I understand that this is an expensive route that you would have to take when it comes to hiring, because you would need to increase the stakes and pay a livable wage. I would recommend no less than $15 an hour to start. You would need to adjust for the cost of living in your area. So you can Google average assistant cost in your area. You would need to also specify how many hours a week you think you would need. You can approach it as a side hustle type of thing, or a part-time gig, or a full-time gig, depending on what the needs of your business is. I see a lot of the times that tattoo artists will say that they're looking for an assistant, but they don't really know what it is. So they don't educate their community on what that means for their shop. I've seen job postings where it says hiring a tattoo assistant, social media experience a plus, not an apprenticeship. That's not very clear because not everyone knows what a tattoo assistant is. Now, this is not an uncommon position, but your community needs to understand that this is an assistant position. There is no apprenticeship. There's no chance of you getting an apprenticeship. If that is something that you don't want to pursue, then that needs to be something that's educated to the community in order for you to be able to find people. If I were to be a recruiter for a tattoo artist, I would look at that post on social media and I would make them redo it, because what happens is that is a bare minimum type of post. And I'm not dogging on anyone that has posted this before. It's just bringing awareness to one of the problems and bad practices of trying to hire. So if you're going to take it to social media, you need to learn and understand what this position would mean for your studio. If you need a manager, or a tattoo assistant can be a shop manager. I just want to clarify that real quick. So if you need someone that's essentially going to take over, you need to explain to your community exactly what that tattoo assistant means for your shop. If you need someone to take over emails, if you need someone to schedule, if you need someone to take over social media, etc., you need to educate your community on what exactly that is, so you can entice people to actually sign up or inquire about it. I know that a lot of the times when it comes to this, people think that this is going to be their ticket in to get an apprenticeship, when in reality, it's not. And that is unfortunate when that happens. But if we can take the time to clarify exactly what it is that we're looking for, then being able to find qualified assistants can actually help with that. So when you are posting on social media, you need to say, our shop is hiring a tattoo assistant. We are looking for X amount of experience. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind on a side note here, likelihood that you're going to find a tattoo assistant that has experience in this industry is going to be next to nil, because professional assistants, it's not saturated enough yet. There are some assistants out there that are professional, but you are going to need someone that's going to be more willing and able to be to learn the ins and outs of the business. So I have a social media post example that I can give you guys. And it's going to be linked in the captions below, to where you can go ahead and just click on it and be able to copy and paste whatever you need. So that is accessible to you immediately once this podcast airs. I want to take the time to thank you for listening this far, if you've made it. And thank you guys so much for listening to me today. And just to give you a heads up, next week we're going to talk about good practices when it comes to hiring an assistant, how to find one, what to look for even further. There's a lot that's packed into that episode. I'm excited for it. So make sure to subscribe, so that way you can be notified the next time an episode is uploaded. And I'll see you on the next episode.